hello, beautiful people. Welcome to my channel. It's your girl, MamiSoTrue. Hey guys, how are you doing? Welcome in. Thank you for checking in today. I'm stopping in, dropping in to talk to you because I got 21 red flags that this is a narcissist that you're dealing with. Yep. If you've had any type of in denial, if you need some validation to understand that you're not crazy, to know that you're not alone, today I am going to tell you from personal experience 21 red flags early on. I'm not even talking about throughout the whole relationship. This is 21 red flags early on. Let's talk about it, you guys. If you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell so you're not missing those weekly videos and lives. Oh my goodness. If you're interested in reaching out to me for life coaching sessions, please do so. The information is in the description box below. Reach out to me, text me if you need any kind of, information or details, and how to contact me is also in the description box below. And if you're interested in being a member on this channel, go ahead and check out that member link as well in that description box. So yeah, you guys, I am going to tell y'all about 21 red flags. And a lot of this might resonate with some of you, most of you, especially if you dealt with a malignant narcissist, because my experience from what I'm sharing in this video is coming from my experience with a malignant narcissist. Was he diagnosed? No, but I know what I know, and there's no doubt. I mean, I know I'm not crazy, so yeah. I mean, like, the list goes on and on and on. So I literally have to break this down and tell you guys the red flags that were early on. The relationship happened so fast that early on really literally means like within the first 60 to 90 days that I knew this person. My story is very different from a lot of people. The way that I met this person and the way that things went was really crazy. I have one of those stories where we met and we moved very fast. Like, the love bomb was very intense, very fast. I was in a place in my life where I was just completely just open to it. I had just walked into my dirty 30s. Honestly, I was open to it in a lot of ways. I was blind to a lot of things in a lot of ways. The relationship has taught me a lot, has opened my eyes to a lot, but it also humbled me in a lot of ways too. Like, the experience for me has just been, it's been a lot on many different levels, and it feels good to be able to sit down today and share with you what I experienced, and hopefully it helps somebody to recognize these signs and to, like I said, validate you if you've went through this, or if you're, sitting there trying to figure out, like, dang, what did I miss in the beginning? And, part of the healing is to really check some of these things off, to kind of sit there and think about some of the things that you contributed to, enabled, some of the things a lot of the things that you accepted, so that you can forgive yourself and move on. So let's talk about it, you guys. Oh my gosh, the 21 red flags. And man, the flags are so red, I had to wear red. I'm like, man, let me wear red so every time I look at myself in the camera, I can remember, like, girl, be transparent. Let them know how red it is. Like, I can't even be ashamed of it, because it is what it is. Like, this is my story. I take accountability. I stand full firm in my role in it. But I honestly, truly believe that, me being who I am in a lot of ways, I went into this very open-minded, very humbly. I had a different perspective in life at the time that I met him. I was willing to learn. I was willing to step into a new chapter in life. I was willing to step out on faith, but let's talk more about it, because gosh, it's just so deep. It's just so deep. So you guys, red flag number 1 that I'm going to talk about, you guys, was the intense immediate interest. The intense immediate interest from the person. the thing, the monster. Oh my God, whatever. The intense, immediate attraction, connection, chemistry, but the intense interest on his end was very high. It was like he saw an angel. It was like he was starstruck. I was literally sitting in a vehicle with tinted windows, you know. I was working at the time. I was dropping off an order to someone else, and it happened to be someone he was working with at the time. And I rolled down the window, handed them the food. I was literally rolling the window up to back off and go because that's just how I roll. I'm not ever interested in all that extra attention. I be, in and out. And immediately this guy was just like, "Hey, who are you? Hi, what's your name?" Blah, blah, blah. And at first, I'm pretty friendly, so I was like, "Hey, hi, bye." But it quickly went to, "Hey, get my number, call me, let's talk, because you seem very interesting. Let's get to know each other." And I was intrigued by it because I'm extroverted and I'm very attracted to that type of energy. I like people who are, open and free and secure, and I'm all about networking and just if your vibe is right, we can connect. It's not always about a sexual relationship or a romance relationship. Sometimes it could boil into a friendship, So, anyways, that was red flag number one. Most definitely, because it's like immediately when we started talking, this person made it seem as if they were so interested in someone who they didn't even see. Like, you don't know if I was disabled at the bottom. You don't know if I was paralyzed. You don't know if I'm walking with two left feet. But it was like, it seemed like they were in love. And I was kind of taken aback, but I wasn't, because my mindset wasn't there. Like, I wasn't looking at it like that, which is crazy because I probably should have, right? Red flag. Yeah, that's why it's called a red flag. Red flag number two was I feel like the criticism of other people was kind of weird. It's like there was joking comments about people, but it wasn't a joke. It was very condescending. It was very demeaning. It was like put downs. It was like comparing other people to himself or other people to other people. I remember just everyone was gay. Everything everybody did, especially a male, he made sure to point it out as gay. And I was like, why are you criticizing everyone and boxing everyone as gay? All right. My third red flag, y'all, was the anger. Very, very early on, literally probably day one or day two of meeting him, there was an anger that was triggered, and it was bad enough for me to remember that I immediately stood up wanting to walk out, and I knew I was going to cut him off and never talk to him again based off of that anger that I felt. But it's so weird looking back at it. I remember that when I stood up to walk away, the things that he said made me kind of step back and reconsider walking away, because I don't remember the argument, but it was something about how I did not feel like I should tolerate anyone who had red flags. I feel like it was something of that nature. I was letting him know that I have deal breakers, and there are certain things that I just feel like if I notice in the relationship, it's not for me and I will have to walk away. And I remember he exploded and he made a very crazy but valid point. And the reason I'm saying it's valid is because it made me stop myself from walking out. His point was, you're never gonna be in a successful relationship if that's your mindset. I don't know. It was something off the wall that made me reconsider my own beliefs. Major red flag. He said something that sounded like such a valid point that I reconsidered, something that I knew I believed strongly in. I've always had a very strong cutoff game when it came to dating. You know, you give me a sign and I'm out. I haven't always had bad relationships. I've had some really good ones. I've met some good guys in my life, but I've always chose the ones that belong in the dumpsters. That's my own personal problem. I'm working on it. Lord Jesus, take the wheel. Because I remember getting up. I remember saying, no, I can't deal with this dude. This is not the type of guy for me. I remember thinking that. I remember getting up, grabbing my purse. And I also remember when I chose to turn around and sit down, he had a huge smile on his face. Now I know that it was like cha-ching, or like checkmate, or like I got her, or like yes, like the devil, you know, got what he was out to get. It's almost like he knew that this was it. This was the perfect and golden target. And from that point on, full control was taken from me. It's so crazy. And I think that that is the beginning of the humbling experience for me in the relationship, because a part of me allowed that to happen because I was at a point in my life where I was ready to be softened. As much as I've always been, you know, very firm with boundaries with men, a part of me have always been too tough. A part of me have always been too, no, not him, not him. I don't want him. He ain't. No, 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 no. So by the time I got to that guy, I was just like, okay, if I keep doing this, I might be that lady, you know, at 50 living with dogs and cats, and I don't even like cats. But no, I'm not speaking that on myself. That would never be my life. Ew. But that was just my thought process, you know. So when he said what he said, it made me sit down. But major red flag. Ding, 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 ding. So that leads to the next red flag when I started hearing I love you within 2 weeks. From the time that we met, from day one up until that I love you messages started being communicated, it was like we were inseparable. I stayed on the phone with him. If I wasn't on the phone with him, I was with him. I was no longer allowed to do anything by myself, really. And to me, I was just like, you know what? I'm in a relationship with someone who wants me with them all the time. That's pretty cool. I felt like I was being validated for feelings that I've always felt needed to be validated. I always thought companionship was about being together all the time, seeing each other all the time, building that, at least in the beginning, for two people who met and thought that they wanted the same thing. I thought that I was doing something right. Gosh, within 2 or 3 weeks, completely inseparable, always together. And that leads to the next red flag. He told me we should get married within 30 days of knowing each other. A lot of people don't know this on my channel. If you've watched my first video talking about, you know, how we met and the whole marriage, one of the things I haven't really talked about is how fast it moved, because there's been so much shame in that for me, because I've never done that in my life. I've never moved so fast with anyone. I've never, you know, put aside my own morals for the name of love, for the sake of love. And also one of the things that I was dealing with at the time was just feeling the need to settle down. Feeling the need to, you know, hey, girl, you don't want to be out here dating, settle down, right? And to beat myself up, to feel like I rushed that process. I didn't even go to God about it. I don't think I even prayed about this relationship. That's how fast it went. I mean, I probably prayed when I met him, because before I met him, I was praying. I thought I was praying to meet him. And so when I met him, I'm like, God, thank you. Thank you for answering my prayer. And then that was it. So, you know, that self-betrayal and that shame has been there. So for me to finally talk about it, I know that's healing working. So When I say keep thriving, I mean it. Keep thriving, because it gets better. You do get stronger. So yes, that was the next red flag. Let's get married within 30 days. I remember he literally called my best friend when I was ready to give her the news. She's one of the only closest people to me. Literally talk to her like every day. And she's literally friend, family, sister, everything to me. And so the first person that I was going to go to with that news, and she knows me so well, she was like, wait, what did you do? What's going on? Like, she knew something was up, but she also knows that I'm intelligent, I'm wise, I'm strong-minded, and I'm gonna figure it out, right? And I'm just out here living my life. I'm just a life liver. I'm not afraid to live. I'm not afraid to take risks. I'm not afraid to try things. I'm fearless in that way. And you know, it might be looked at as bad. I don't look at it as bad, because honestly, this experience has brought me to the best place in my life right now. So the risk that I took actually may have been worth it in a weird, sick way. Oh my God. All right. So I remember he literally called my best friend, y'all, and he was like, you know, we are all adults. She and I have met. We love each other. We're two people who are the same. We want the same things in life. We have the same goals, aspirations. He said, I just don't see the need in waiting. We don't need to date forever. I don't want to hang on to planning something that we can make happen later on down the line. What we need to do now is just lock each other in. And it sounded so good. I sound horrible the way I'm saying it, but if y'all would have heard it, like the way this man talks, the presentation, the verbiage, the act, so profound. Like, he could have fooled any damn body. I'm talking about, because my best friend is like somebody who is not easily persuaded, you know. So she was just like, all right, well, you know, I'm gonna pray for you, pray about it. If you happy, I'm happy. That's it. Next red flag. The way other people viewed him. This person had a bad reputation very early on, even the week we went to get married. I remember he said to me that one of the people he worked with in the studio didn't like him. Every time that she saw him, she would say, you're so toxic. All of your relationships are toxic. Everyone talks about you. You're just so toxic. She was an alcoholic artist at the studio he worked at, and he thought it was so funny, and he was saying it in a jokingly manner, you know. And that wasn't the only person. There were many stories that he shared where he let me know he is not the most liked person in the world. Most people probably want him dead. From childhood to adulthood, from neighbors to strangers. Like, reputation is bad everywhere. Bad everywhere. I'd be surprised if his face wasn't plastered in certain places, like wanted, you know. Which leads to the next red flag: the criminal record, the criminal past. Every relationship prior to me has had some type of domestic violence involved. Red flag. Most definitely a red flag. And that's something that I discovered after I went to jail, when we were already legally married. When I got out of jail, I was like, who did I marry? I thought this was a sweet guy. I thought this was a good man. What the hell is this? So I had to figure out more, and I learned a little bit more. And he used to always tell on himself too. So he would always talk about probation issues and prior cases, but he typically made it seem like he was the victim, or, you know, the person did something that caused him to react in that way. They cheated. He caught these girls with other men. That was his story all the time. Definitely a red flag. Next red flag was how he made sure that I always knew that all his relationships were bad, except maybe one or two that he regret because they really cut him off. Red flag. There were one or two women that he talked about that he will never forget. Now that I know that he's a narcissist, these are women that were good to him, that he abused and damaged, and they don't, they don't love him the way they used to anymore, and he cannot seem to let them go. And he used to talk about how almost every other relationship was really bad. It was always cheating involved. It was always them making him feel insignificant, insecure. It was always him being abused. He told me he was in a relationship where he was always accused of doing things that he was not doing. And that came out every time he projected things on me. And then I would tell him how it affected me. And then he would break down and say, "I'm sorry I did it to you. This was done to me, so I know it doesn't feel good to you." Red flag. The next red flag is how he kept warning me about his mother and how he felt she damaged him. I won't get too deep into that, but he definitely made it a point for me to know that him and his mother did not have the kind of relationship that he would have wanted. And it played a major role in why he was the way he was and why he felt the way he felt about women. He's never seen women do good to men. He's never seen love. Red flag. Red mother effing flag. Next red flag is how he never had anything positive to say about his own family members. Never. Not even really his own kids. The only family member he had something good to say about was his grandmother, who basically raised and took care of him. But knowing what I know, the narcissistic chain is just a generational thing. Whatever he perceived as love from that person was definitely not love. But everything he had to say about even her sometimes was not the most positive. It was all always confirmation of why he was the monster that he was. Red flags all day. Yeah, I know. At this point, you're probably like, "Girl, I can't even keep up. I done lost count." Me too. The next red flag is the fact that he had more than one baby mother. To have one child, two maybe, but to find out this person had potentially 7, 8 children, all of them probably with different mothers, that's beyond a red flag. That's beyond a red flag. And it was like after I got married, every month it was more and more. It's like, dang, it's another baby somewhere? Dang, you got wait, what? Wait, what? The red flags, y'all. The red flags are so red, it don't make no sense. So the next red flag is how dysfunctional all his kids' situations were. None of them really had a healthy life because they had him as a dad and he wasn't even really involved. And their mothers were, we just gonna leave it right there. The next red flag is how he did not have healthy relationships with any of his children's mothers. None of them. No. They didn't like him, and they all just used him for whatever he had, whatever he can give. And I'm pretty sure that involved sex every now and then because that's how sick he and they are. The next red flag is how he always had money issues. There was always some kind of chaos. There was always a reason why he was broke. There was always a reason why money was held up. Somebody always promising him some money that they never fell through with. I slowly learned that this person basically begs for a living. Like the title that he hides behind as a career is definitely fake because there were no benefits that came from it. The little that did come, he selfishly spent it on himself, spent it on things that he couldn't even keep and maintain. So it was like he never had anything. And that brings me to the next red flag, because not only did he ever not have anything, but he always had some kind of plan or a new plan. And it was always impulsive. Behaviors were so impulsive. We could have planned to do something with money one day. The next day I'd wake up and the plans would completely change. And then the next day it would completely change again. This person bought an in-home studio 4, 5, 6 times within 6 months. That's a lot of money to be blown and wasted for no reason. Impulsive, ridiculous behaviors always have a new, crazy, drastic, big idea, plan that wasn't going nowhere. So that brings me to my next red flag. Nothing made this person happy. Nothing. No matter how much money he was given, how much money he spent, no matter what was bought, what was given, it didn't matter. There was no satisfaction. Not sex, nothing. Nothing. And that brings me to my next red flag, talking about sex. Early on in the relationship, the first time we had sex, I remember after we finished, he rolled over on the other side of the bed and he noticed that I was like, okay, this is weird. So then he turned to me and he said, "Do you want me to cuddle with you?" And I was like, I mean, you don't have to. He's like, I mean, do you want me to cuddle with you? And I was like, I mean, no. And he was like, all right, I'm just asking because I know I'm probably supposed to do that. And I was like, this is really weird. Okay, all right, okay, all right, all right, okay. Next red flag. Not only was it awkwardly with sex, but he never slept. And not only did he never sleep, he was always away when I was asleep. I would always go to sleep first. He was never around when I was going to sleep. Where he was, though, somewhere in the bathroom, somewhere in the other room, probably watching porn, texting other supplies, looking for new supply, and just being a nasty damn narcissist. Another red flag I have is how he made me change my number and my iCloud. He made me get a whole new phone service when we got married. He said he did not trust me having contact with anybody I've known all my life. I could be interacting with them. He didn't trust that. He has trust issues. He was not having that. And I had a whole business connected to my number, and I have a history of not even having a stable number. That was a number that I had finally had for about 2 years, and this demon made me change my number. That was a red freaking flag. My next red flag is how mad he was when I would not change my last name legally when we were married. I was taking too long for his liking. It was taking me too long to go down to the Social Security office, update my social to his name. It was taking too long to update my license to his name. But I was already caught on to what was happening by the time I signed that paperwork and married him. By the time the red flags hit about number 5, I was unsettled in my spirit and I knew that this was going somewhere south. So I never was going to do that. And he felt that. And that is why for me in my situation, a new supply came along very early and a new supply got pulled in very deeply because this narcissist knew that I was too strong for him from the beginning. It's funny how we met, and it's funny how he thought I was a fool, and it's funny how he quickly learned that I was not his fool or nobody's fool. Oh my God, this brings me to, I think this is my last red flag. I think we're on number 21, you guys. How he broke down and confessed how wicked he's been in the past. This was a major red flag for me. This happened more than once. It happened before we got married and right after we got married. And it happened every time the most drastic thing would happen. It's now something that I know is like his way of just, programming me to accept his behavior as someone who just has trauma, someone who just needs help, someone who's just broken. After all of these red flags, what I've learned more now and what I see more clearly now is when I met him, all of these red flags and all this stuff was happening because this person was going through narcissistic mortification. A lot of times we are running into narcissists who are going through their narcissistic collapse in life. And here we are entering into their world at that time, not knowing they're going through that. And we're these empaths. We're coming in and we're not noticing that this is a narcissist who carries a lot of shame from mistakes made in their past, all this fear of not being enough, all this fear of being criticized, all this fear of not making it. A lot of them hate themselves so much, they're very suicidal. They're very suicidal. The impulsive behaviors, the depression, they're super depressed. They're super depressed. The gaslighting, the mental breakdowns, the anger, the outbursts, the rage, the smearing of people's names and reputations, the harmful behaviors, the false accusations, that is all signs of a collapsing narcissist. And a lot of us, we get love bombed by narcissists while they're going through that phase because they just left one situation. That's why in so many ways, we became the new supply. We're not the same level of supply, but we became the new supply because they're running from one situation to you. They're running from hundreds of situations to you. And so people might say, why do you ignore the red flag? Hey, if you're an empath and they're a narcissist, you're like a magnet. This person is collapsing in life because they're a narcissist. They're miserable. They're living their karma when they ran into you. So by the time they run into you, here you are, this fountain of love. You now met this empty vessel, but you don't even know that this is something that you'll never be able to fill. You're a fountain of love. You've met an empty vessel, a broken vessel. You start pouring into it, but there's so many holes. Hell, it's just cracked completely. So you're pouring into something that you're never making a difference in or a difference with. That's why the relationship just doesn't grow. It doesn't get better. It gets worse and worse and worse. It falls apart. As an empath, you love to build people up. This is what the narcissist craves. This is what they need from us. And they're so good at making us feel needed. That's why they love bomb us. And when we're busy trying to fulfill someone's needs, we're not seeing red flags the way that we should. Until it becomes too much. Because a narcissist and an empath is a match made in hell. It can't work. Because true empaths are rare. If you're lucky to find an empath in your life, especially for a narcissist, that's like running into an angel. Absolutely. Because nobody devotes their time, their love, and their efforts like an empath. Nurturing, patient, extremely caring, extremely compassionate. We accept all the rejects. Well, guys, there you have it. 21 red flags early on in that narcissistic relationship. Whew. And I know you agree that those red flags was real red. Let's talk about it. Share those comments with me. Share your thoughts. Like the video and make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel. Thank you so much for tuning in today and listening to me talk about these red flags. Be very aware, y'all, because it's real. If you're interested in a free interview to expose your story to the world about what you went through with a narcissist, book your free interview by hitting that link below in the description box. See you next time, beautiful people. Take care. Stay true. Mwah.